Welcome back guys to another Joe Cobra video for my top 10 games of 2020. Now I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. I know considering the situation that we've all been through this year, it's not been probably the best of Christmases. And guys, I really hope that 2021 is a much better year for us all. And having said that, one place where we have had an amazing year is in the gaming world. We have really been spoilt with some truly amazing games this year, as well as the release of the next gen consoles. So let's get started with my top 10 games of 2020, and just remember guys that the list will only be for the games that I got the chance to play or review on my channel this year. And the ones that I didn't, well, if I didn't get to play them, well, I will give an honorable mention to them before revealing my number one game of the year. So here are my top 10 games of 2020. At number 10 is Hunt Down, which is a love letter to the 80s style Contra and Metal Slug 2D shooters with amazing old school visuals, fantastic sound, great music and hilarious dialogue that plays homage to anything related to the 80s and 90s action genre. Hunt Down really did take me back to the days of classic arcade 2D action games. From the beginning to the end, this game was an absolute blast. The attention to detail in the environments, the sound work, and all the different types of enemies played a huge part in keeping each moment of the gameplay fresh and fun. The gunplay is a joy, and the super fun boss battles were all so much fun and all poked fun at the action film genre. And although it did not have online multiplayer, it did have couch co-op, just like the good old days. If you're a fan of this style of game, then I really hope you give Hunt Down a try. It's an absolute blast, and I really hope Easy Trigger Games give us a Hunt Down too. After years of attempts to bring the magic of the original Tony Hawk games back to current gen, this remake does the impossible and makes the series important again, and has established itself as the best skateboarding game around for a second time. Through a mix of nostalgia of the classic levels to the fantastic recreation of how Tony and the gang handle, everyone can agree that the king of skateboarding is back. Whether it's building up speed through chaining together loads of grinds, pulling off the insane special tricks, to messing up your chain of tricks and slamming your head on concrete. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 gives us the exact feeling we got when the original games were released, but with the added beauty of 4K and HDR support. Plus, the classic music tracks are back, along with some newer ones to give us the full skateboarding game package. Vicarious Visions has established that Tony can be just relevant today as he was back in the early 2000s. And I hope that they get the chance to bring us a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
All these guys in this room, they're here because they have the only thing that matters to me. The only thing that should matter to any of us. You know what that is, Tommy?
They're loyal.
That's right.
At number 8 is Mafia Definitive Edition, which was completely rebuilt from the ground up, featuring excellent performances from its new cast, new and much needed driving mechanics, and a beautiful and authentic city full of 1930s atmosphere. It had some clunky third-person combat and movement, and it arguably wastes the potential of its entirely overhauled city by not giving us a few more new ways to enjoy it. But it's still a very successful refresh of the best story in the series to date. I really enjoyed revisiting Lost Haven and the awesome story of Tommy Angelo, and if you played it, I'm sure you guys will have too. Being a huge fan of Formula 1, this game blew my world. When it came out, it was easily the deepest yet most accessible Codemasters Formula 1 experience to date. Apart from the same old recycled cutscenes and the same old faces we've been seeing for basically the entire series, it means that F1 2020 doesn't look as fresh as it feels, but between the absolutely excellent My Team, the ability to swap drivers for the first time ever in a F1 game, and the return of split screen, this is easily the most fun I've had with the F1 series for years. All the game needs is just a little bit of a facelift in the cutscene and menus area, and I think that we will finally have the ultimate Formula 1 next gen game in 2021, and I can't wait, guys.
I can't shake them! Giving engines full power!
Think you can escape?
This is gonna be close!
In at number 6 is Star Wars Squadrons, which gave us a single player campaign, which was a real treat for us Star Wars fans, especially if you are lucky enough to experience it in VR. Its super fun space combat is a great balance of arcade control with the added touch of simulation systems, which combined with the outstanding detailed ships and cockpits, making you really feel part of its world. Star Wars Squadrons didn't end up doing anything too memorable with its characters or rival squadron teams, but the campaign still tells an entertaining Star Wars story, which I enjoyed no matter which cockpit I was in. The multiplayer could have had more modes, but they have surprisingly been adding things to the game after saying that they wouldn't, which is nice. Either way, I am still currently enjoying the game, and along with last year's Fallen Order, these are easily the best Star Wars games we've had in a very long time. And in at number 5 is one of the best beat 'em up series ever created, which has returned this year after a long 26 years. The iconic Streets of Rage came back with a masterful tribute and revitalization of the classic action older fans like me adored in the 80s and 90s. The all-time classic Streets of Rage, known as Bare Knuckle in Japan, is a beat 'em up series known for its timeless gameplay and electronic dance-infused music. Streets of Rage 4 builds upon the classic trilogy's gameplay with new mechanics, beautiful hand-drawn visuals, and a fantastic soundtrack to boot. All the iconic characters have returned, like Axel, Blaze, and Adam, along with new friends Floyd and Sherry. And along with some brand new moves and stages, we also got a new storyline that continued the Mr. X storyline from the originals. And guys, I can't tell you how much fun I had and my boys while playing Streets of Rage 4. And Streets of Rage 4 easily sits at my number 5 game of 2020. At number 4, well boy, this one was a real surprise. With its insane pace and skill-heavy gameplay, Ghost Runner blew me away. This was one great first-person action game that feels very punishing but fair at the same time. You may die hundreds of times, but the instant respawn and generous checkpoint system ensure that Ghost Runner's challenging combat and platforming never becomes a chore. Ghost Runner is jam-packed with a great variety of enemies, mechanics, and special powers that consistently changed up how I approached its many unique encounters. For me, the game always felt fresh from start to finish, and by the end of its 6 to 8 hour campaign, I instantly jumped back in for another playthrough and enjoyed it even more the second time round. This is one game you don't want to miss and was also my surprise hit of the year. Ghost Runner is at number 4 of my best games of 2020.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
That's right guys, Cyberpunk 2077 comes in at number 3 on my list. The most anticipated game in recent memory, and that was before anyone even knew that the legendary Keanu Reeves was going to be in it. Developed by the great team responsible for the unforgettable and critically acclaimed The Witcher 3, Cyberpunk 2077 is one of the largest and deepest and most intense sci-fi RPGs around. It offers an insane amount of choice in how to build your character, how you approach quests, and confront your enemies, and the decisions you have a real effect and impact on both the world around you and the stories of the people who you meet. The stories can be emotional, funny, dark, exciting, and sometimes all of those things at once. The main quests may be shorter than expected if you blast through it, and it's not always clear what you need to do to make certain changes throughout the story, but the insane amount of brilliant side quests that are available from the start can have a powerful effect on the options that you have when you get there. Now, we all know the story behind Cyberpunk's launch now, and the problems that it's had, and the problems it kind of continues to have, especially on last gen, which is pretty much unforgivable and probably the main reason why it's not higher on my list. But still, I know that CD Projekt Red are going to support this game in every way possible, just like they did with The Witcher 3. And maybe by March, I'm sure everybody will forget about its terrible launch and they'll be praising how great the game is. Regardless, to me, Cyberpunk 2077 is truly a remarkable RPG, and I was very, very lucky to experience the game I think most people wanted to experience. In at number 2 is Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now, Moon Studios took the excellent base of its first game, Blind Forest, and added and improved the game even more here. Its many new elements expand on and add to the first game's fun without overcomplicating things, along with the truly gob-smacking graphics, and I can't stress that enough. The controls and animation, I had no choice but to give this game a 10 out of 10 earlier in the year. It stays true to the spirit of the original, expands on what made it great, and gives you more of a story and more of a bigger map, and options to navigate it also. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is an excellent heartfelt follow-up that pushes the series to new heights, and I really can't wait to see what Moon Studios do with their next game. But obviously it misses out on my game of the year, and that title goes to... well, not just yet, guys. First, let's see some of the games that could have made my list had I had a chance to play them or review them.
You are a samurai, bound to uphold a code. To live, fight, and die with honor. If you stray from this path, what will you become? A storm is coming.
Jin! Come on, Jin! So what's the plan?
If we can get this weapon, what we're doing here could change things forever.
There's no straight shot to the vault. I'm gonna head inside, find a way out.
Got it. I'm with you every step of the way.
You're gonna need a gun! Don't worry, it's unloaded. It's unloaded now!
They're gonna find out what he knows, and then they're gonna kill him.
All this is my fault. I never told you. I couldn't. I'm so sorry, baby.
You will not save him. Alex Vance alone cannot prevent his fate.
Close your eyes, honey!
It's over!
That's my line.
My turn. I promise you, there's a much bigger threat.
hunting them at the far reaches of the earth and beyond. And with him lies our salvation.
So here we have it, my #1 game of the year, Doom Eternal, which was released earlier this year and was even more outstanding than Doom 2016. It released at the beginning of the year, and for me, nothing has come close. As the Doom Slayer, you'll return to take your vengeance against the evil demons of hell. Set to an all-new headbanging soundtrack composed by the great Mick Gordon, what makes Doom Eternal so amazing to me is that it managed to improve in many ways over its predecessor, especially in the speed, graphics, and feel department. And it proved that this almost 30-year-old franchise is still as fresh and vital as it was way back in 1993. Man, the fun I had slaughtering demons once again, along with the pumping soundtrack, had me hooked for most of this year, and along with the tremendous story DLC that came out a few months back, I can't praise Doom Eternal enough. And we still have more story DLC to come out next year. Doom Eternal is definitely my game of the year 2020. So guys, thank you so much for watching my video of the top 10 games of 2020. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I want to thank each and every one of you that hit the subscribe button, like button or bell button this year and helped support me and help my channel grow. Thank you so much guys, and I hope that everybody has a very healthy and prosperous 2021, and I will be back with more videos for you guys next year. Thank you all again. Have a happy new year, and bye bye.